So, Doctor Who Series 1 has now ended, and I've got mixed feelings. So with that out the way, hi, the name's Juliet, and welcome back to another video. Now, I'll say I am a little sick this time, so I don't know if I will get this out on time, but just in case I do, it's the last day of Pride, so we're going to dedicate this amazing video to everyone by putting the progression flag in the top corner. So without that out the way, let's get into the rules of the ranking. So I'll be ranking all 8 stories from worst to best with a numbered rating and why, and these include stories from the Church of Ruby Road all the way up to Legend of Ruby Sunday / Empire of Death. Because that's a two-parter, it classes as one story as we're counting the stories and not the specific episodes. So, with that out the way, let's get right into it. This felt like a rip-off Rose and it was far too busy. I didn't enjoy it. It was boring and a little weird. It felt too cringy and goofy for an entire story. In the trailers we saw the dinosaurs and I was excited for that. I like dinosaurs. I thought we were going to get a full-on dinosaur story on the budget that we obviously received, and that would have been amazing. I was quite disappointed from the onset when we got one scene just about the butterfly effect. I feel like that was kind of wasted potential. So I will admit it was funny to see Millie Gibson in that makeup to describe the butterfly effect. It was only show and not tell, but it worked amazingly. And that was kind of the highlight for the episode and the only really good part of it, because I think saying the episode title 11 times felt quite annoying and repetitive. It was really infuriating. The bogeyman felt wasted, even though it was terrifying on screen, and the visual effects for the space babies' mouths were cheap and laughable. It was weird. In the beginning, the budget was used amazing, and then the mouths of the babies came along, it felt out of episode. Like, it took me right out the episode, and all in all, it felt like the story's only purpose was exposition, which is why I'm giving the story a 4 out of 10. This story was very predictable and boring. Going into it, I had absolutely no idea what I was going to expect. Not a thing. And what highlights this episode for me is the last 10 minutes. Ncuti's acting in that were amazing. And killing off Ricky September, that scene was really good. I liked that scene quite a bit. That's when it started to pick up. And Lindy's acting was fantastic. We all hated it like we were supposed to. However, the racism storyline was a little bit obvious. I predicted each twist quite early on. Ricky was a decent character, but not great. By any means not great, but he felt like a stand-in for the Doctor, where the Doctor was supposed to be written. This story was originally pitched for Series 5, and I think Ricky was supposed to be the Doctor in this, and that also did kind of take me out of the episode, because Ricky did not need to be there at all. So because of that, I give this episode a 5 out of 10. Damn it, Russell. Actually, damn it. Two-parters, like I said, are only one story in my eyes, so I was really disappointed in this resolution. The first part had me hooked. Cherry and Flood were amazing together, the time window scene was beautiful, Kate actually felt like a leader, Maurice Gibbons was a huge highlight and I prefer him to Shirley. Carla and Rose, they both felt like spare parts. I mean, I understand why Carla was there during the time window, but Rose, she didn't have to be in the story. I like the subtle reference to this story Rose, with her investigating shoplifting at Catford, which was the same place we saw the Autons attack Rose's mother. Oh Christ, this this is a bit confusing with all the roses. I do love Sutex's appearance and the reveal, even though I did see it coming. However, that that was handled quite well, and the predictability of the reveal didn't impact the reveal at all. Russell T Davies knows how to write his first parters, but it hardly ever sticks the landing. I mean, the best example I'd say is Series 3 with Martha and the Master. And it's why the story is actually quite far down on the list, because Empire of Death was a massive disappointment. If you've seen my community post, you know I feel like this, but here's why. Sutekh. We hardly saw him. His defeat felt cheap and quick, and he was done dirty. The fanbase wanted him back for so long, and it didn't live up to the hype. The first 10 minutes were amazing. The effect of the Dust of Death was gorgeous. Then Kate, Carla, Flood, and Cherry died. That should have been the cliffhanger for Legend of Ruby Sunday. That would have kept up the pace, and it would have left stakes so much higher. And it would have left more room for Empire to breathe. And if some things were more written in there because of that breathing space, then it might have been handled a little better. But because it was left at the beginning of Empire, you knew it would all be undone. It's just a matter of how. I mean, the stakes were fantastic. The Doctor literally lost. The remembered TARDIS was utilised amazingly. I love how in the trailers it was retextured to be the Doctor's TARDIS without Mel or Ruby there. It saves on spoilers, and it was a good twist. The last 10 minutes were emotional and fantastic. Ruby meeting with her mother was done amazingly, but in regards to that twist, that's all that's good. The middle of the episode felt bland and boring. Ruby's mum, being a normal person, was so disappointing, and it felt like a slap in the face. The Mel twist was predictable, and I've already said how I feel about how Sutekh was handled. The Legend of Ruby Sunday was easily an 8 out of 10, but Empire was a 2. That makes the combined story a 5 out of 10. It was a nice introduction to Ruby. The cold open was a brilliant hook to the storyline that definitely didn't end abysmally. I think the goblins weren't used effectively in the second half, and defeating them felt cheap, as if Russell T Davies didn't know how to end it. It was very focused on Ruby and introducing her, though that's not a criticism. I think every companion introduction story needs to do this in some degree, and do it well. This story does do that. I feel a sense of connection to her by the end, and I loved how her family introduced. Cherry stole every scene she was in, and damn give that poor woman her fucking cuppa. This story also introduced a second mystery. The mystery of Mrs. Flood. She was handled so well in the story, and I just had question after question after question. And for that, I give the story a 6 out of 10. I loved the story. It felt like true Doctor Who. There was drama, there was entertainment, there was romance, and there was a memorable villain. I loved the Children. They were fantastic. The way they killed felt very CW Flash, in the way Eobard Thawne kills Harrison Wells while stealing his face in season 1. The Ruby fake out felt a bit off because it had already been done in Boom and done better. Now, a big downer for this story was the romance plot. Now, this is not because it was gay. If you've seen this month's videos, you know that it's not because it was gay. I just don't like romance plots involving the Doctor. It's a big reason why I don't like the TV movie. It's a huge reason why I don't like Rose Tyler. The whole Ten and Rose thing is a huge downer on amazing stories in season 2, And it's why I think Martha works so well, because it's only a one-way romance. The Doctor doesn't notice it. And it's why Donna is a step up from both of them, because they're only friends. They are literally just bed friends. Bed friends? No, that would include romance. Best friends. But now, don't get me wrong, I loved the chemistry between the Doctor and Rogue, and I'd love to see Jonathan Groff back, but because he was that good in the role, just without the romance subplot. Apart from that, it was a solid story, and it's easily an 8 out of 10. Man, I had high hopes for this story. So many high expectations, and oh boy did it deliver. The episode was fun, cheesy, and campy. Monsoon played one hell of a maestro, and she too was fantastic. Millie Gibson was kind of sidelined in the story, but this gave Ruby one of the most important lessons of a Doctor Who companion: possible futures. A huge highlight for me is the way the Sonic was used. Having the Sonic mute all sound within the surrounding area makes so much sense with it being Sonic, and I'm so happy it was used to disrupt sound waves. With it being a Sonic, I'm surprised it hasn't been seen to this extent before on the TV screen. Two big things about this story though, with a consistent fourth wall breaks and the infamous "there's always a twist at the end." I didn't like the musical number because to me it didn't fit. I know it's easily explained by saying Maestro's power lingered like the Toymakers did in the Giggle, but I still don't like it. If this story had more of a musical focus and was actually a musical episode, then I would have liked it. Like, easily, because it's a very catchy song. We just needed a couple more musical numbers in there, Russell. But it's still a solid story, and it's marginally, as it is marginally, better than Rogue. And for that, I give it an 8.2 out of 10. Moffat came back, and it was with a bang. Golden, amazing. Series 4 took the Doctor's voice and turned it into a weapon against him. Boom takes the Doctor's second greatest asset. He has to stop running. What makes this episode so good is the continuation of Moffat's world building. Villain Guard makes a return. The Church of the Papal Mainframe takes its return in the form of the Anglican Marines seen in A Good Man Goes to War and Time of the Doctor. But most importantly, fish fingers and custard. The Ruby fake out genuinely had me shocked. I was not expecting it. It's not beyond Moffat to kill companions off mid-season. Amy and Rory, if you want to ignore the season that was split into two. All in all, I felt like it was a solid story with a satisfying resolution. The limited set was used well in my opinion. I just wish we got to see more of the camp, as the detail and effort they put into that was amazing, and it looks beautiful. So, I give this story a 9 out of 10. Wow. What a story. With this being the first one Millie Gibson filmed, I was just in awe. She did fantastic. Having a Ruby-focused story felt right, considering she'd been sidelined for the first bit of the season. The first 10 minutes in the Welsh village, where the residents took the absolute piss, was fantastic. The camera work in the pub made the audience feel genuine horror. I felt genuinely uneasy watching that, and I loved it. I've heard people say the resolution felt cheap and crappy, but I disagree. It just adds more questions to the whole alternate timeline, with remnants of it remaining within the main timeline. Big example is at the beginning of the episode, Ruby says that she's only been to Wales twice, and at the end she says she's been 3 times. And I like that, because it means that parts of that are still lingering, and Empire of Death slightly expanded on that, with her memories still being in there, most likely as a dream. That, to me, added more to Ruby's character than most people think. They do have the potential to end up revisiting this at some point, and I hope they do. I liked how anyone spoke to the woman turned on Ruby. It added to the stakes and made you feel for Ruby. I also liked how the woman's existence put a damper on any of Ruby's attempts at a relationship, as Ruby always seemed to be somewhere else. Finally, I like how Ruby used the woman to stop Roger Ap Gwilliam. It was beautiful. It was a brilliant way to stop a threat and save the world from nuclear devastation. It was truly the best of the season, but it still had its flaws. And for that, I give this story a 9.5 out of 10. So, if you don't remember, back after the second trailer had released, I aired a predictive ranking to see if I could predict where I thought the stories would be placed on this ranking, just based off the episode titles and the shots that I could connect them to in the trailer. And did I get any of them right? Yeah, I predicted Boom. After looking at my predictive ranking and writing the script, these thoughts and feelings are genuine. I did this script after revisiting my predictive ranking. So, yeah, I very nearly had none of them right, as Boom and 73 Yards, and they were all jumbled up. Even The Devil's Chord, they all could have been anywhere else, and before I did my rewatch, because they were all so close together. But that's how it was. That's how it ended, and that's how I feel as Series 1. So, yeah. If you enjoyed them, please do leave a like. I do want to hear your guys' opinions on Series 1 down in the comments below. And I want to know what your rankings for this season was. I have quite a bit planned for this next month. Some people in my Discord do already have a semi-idea. But, yeah. That's about all from me. And we'll see you next week. Bye.